Well, hello friends. Welcome back to the program. Today we are going to work on a new GUI feature in Serenity OS, and I'd like to start building a sort of command palette like you find in more and more applications these days, like IDEs especially. So something like this pop-up right here that you can get in C-Line, which allows you to search for actions by typing some part of the action name. And then if I search for copy, I can cycle through all of these actions that have copy somewhere in the name. And the basic idea is that instead of having to look through all the menus to find what I'm looking for, I can just go here and type what I'm looking for. So maybe I want to edit the settings. Or maybe I want to do something more obscure like copyright profiles. And it can take you right there. So actually, let me update my copyright profile. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how we're going to make all of this work in Serenity, but one thing we do have going for us is that everybody uses libGUI, right? So if we were to build something like this into libGUI, it could become available to all applications very easily. So my thinking is, as a first prototype of something like this, we can build something that just finds all of the context appropriate actions for the current input context and just puts them into a browsable list like we get here, right? And allows you to just filter through it and activate one of the actions. And probably something similar to the emoji picker, for example, which is on Control-Alt-Space, which pops up and allows you to enter emojis. And the way that the emoji picker works, by the way, is in Windows Server Connection, we have this hook in the keyboard key down event handler. So immediately when you receive a key down event from Windows Server, we will check if it is Control-Alt-Space and if the currently focused widget accepts emoji input. And if so, we will instantiate an emoji input dialog and then show that. And I'm kind of thinking that we could do something similar here. It's a bit unfortunate to hard code the shortcut, but you know, that's something that we can leave for our future selves to improve upon. So let's just put something here right away. Maybe we will borrow C-Line's shortcut, Control-Shift-A. So that would just be something like if modifiers are key A. All right, then let's make, I guess, what do we call it? Action palette, command palette? Command palette seems fine. Command palette dialog. Okay, so we'll use the same sort of pattern as the emoji input dialog. We'll just make a new dialog. So when you put the program into this state that you're using the command palette, then you can't interact with other parts of the program until you dismiss the command palette. How does that work here? If you click outside the thing, can you escape? Yeah, okay, so you can't click outside of it to dismiss it, but you can press escape. We should probably improve upon that to allow you to exit by just clicking outside of it. But for now, let's just roll with this. So command palette dialog exec. Okay, sure. And then here, I guess, if we get some kind of action, so essentially what we want this thing to do right now is to just find as an action that we can activate. So we'll check here. well, if it failed to exec, then we wouldn't have an action. So at this point, let's say command palette dialog action. Or let's write it this way. Yeah. Okay, and then let's also give ourselves one of these things. So where does this go? libgui. And this will be command palette dialog.h and cpp. Wait, there's a command.cpp in libgui. Oh, that's for the for editing commands or undo commands. But this is totally separate from that. The clash in naming is kind of unfortunate, but I think these are normally called command palettes, right? Is action palette a thing? Action palette GUI. Not really a thing. Command palette. Yeah, command palette is definitely what people call this. So let's roll with that. And then we can work on the command name later. Maybe we should call those undo commands or something, because this doesn't really have anything to do with GUI command. Anyway, that's a secondary concern. Also, maybe should we just call it command palette instead of command palette dialog? It has a slightly nicer ring to it. The dialog feels superfluous, so let's do that. Command palette. All right. And then I have to rename my things. No big deal. All right, there we go. Okay, let's insert some copyright. Oh, maybe I should use the command palette here. Copyright. Boom. I should get used to using it. I'm not used to using the command palette, but it seems like could be a good thing to practice, especially now if we're going to make one. Okay, so command palette is going to be a libgui dialog subclass. Okay. And what are we going to do with this thing? Well, we'll figure it out. I guess we wanted to have a parent window. And we wanted to vend a GUI action after it's finished. I suppose we could have a const variant of that for those who feel like that's useful. Yeah, we'll do something like this. What does dialog take in the constructor? This isn't dialog.h. Dialog's constructor takes a parent window and a screen position. Center within parent is the default. That's excellent for us. So we just really need to pass in the parent window. So let's just make sure here that it actually says parent window. And maybe we will do this. Or, you know, we can be flexible, actually. In fact, we can be super flexible and also allow you to specify the screen position, because it's not going to hurt anybody. Yeah, we're just going to forward these arguments anyway, so. Okay. namespace GUI, sure. All right, so forward to GUI dialog, parent window, screen position, boom. All right. And at this point, our main concern is to, I guess, enumerate all of the possible actions that are reachable from here. So in order to do that, we really need to know where we are invoking this palette from. Let's see, command palette construct. I guess we need to specify a little bit more than just the window. Or wait, do we? Maybe we don't, because we can ask the window for its focused widget, and then we can take it from there. Yeah, let's try that. So I guess this guy is going to have, maybe this should be called selected action. Okay, that was probably a bad idea. We can call it action. But we're going to want to have a non-null ref footer vector of all the possible actions. And yeah, you know what? Let's just call this selected action. Yeah, that's slightly catchier. Okay. So the real trick comes now. How do we find all of the possible actions that we want to put in this thing? I guess find actions, or yeah, find actions, I guess. Okay, let's just call it something like that so that we don't put it all in the constructor, because that's a little bit tacky. And okay. And actually, if we don't have a parent window, we can't locate actions. So that's going to have to be a reference now that I think about that a bit better, a bit harder. Okay. All right. So how do we find the actions? And I guess we can sort of start by just emulating what happens when you press a key. So what happens when you press a key is that we get a key down event from Windows Server coming in here into Windows Server connection. And then we do a lookup called action for key event. And let's see how this works. So action for key event basically scans every incoming key event to figure out, is there a keyboard shortcut that is supposed to activate when this key combination is pressed. So to do that, we look through the focused widget and all of its parent widgets, check if they have an action for key event. And then after that, we also look at the window, check if it has an action for key event. And finally, for non-modal windows, we check if the application itself has an action for key event. So there's a whole priority hierarchy here, or whatever, for things that may have key events that we need to go and look at. So just the simplest approach to this, without trying to get clever or reduce code duplication or whatever, we can just do the same thing. So the first thing, this is short circuit logic, right? So if you find a match, then that match is, we immediately return and activate that action. So I think we should put them in the same order, probably, as the GUI would prioritize them. Or should they be alphabetical? Let's put them in the same order that the GUI would prioritize them for now. But then maybe later we can prioritize alphabetically. I don't know. One thing at a time. We already have a vector. So first thing we need to know if there is a focused widget. So, I guess we can pass in the parent window to this function. Then we don't need to go hunting for the parent window since we already have a reference to it. Yeah, this should be okay. So then what we were doing here, we were just walking the parent chain of widgets and checking action for key event, which does what? Hello, sea lion. Okay, I'm just gonna go there manually then. It iterates through all of the children of this widget. So action is a core object, just like widget is a core object, which means that action can be a child of widget, and that's how we find all of the widget scoped actions. That those actions are just children of the widget that they're scoped to. Yeah, so that's what we do here. We just iterate through all of the children of type action. And we can just do the same thing here. And I suppose we could actually structure this like this. Parent widget. Widget used in loop condition not modified in loop body. Wait, what? Expected parent to match which parent? Okay, what am I doing wrong? I'm so confused. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong, please? Incomplete type GUI widget. That's the problem. Well, that is a very unhelpful error. Okay, well. Look at that. Huh. So if it doesn't know what widget is, it gives you this error. That's janky. Anyway, let's get back on track. Okay. So, and then we need to iterate all of the children of type action. So for each child of type, GUI action. I guess we should probably only show you enabled actions, so actions that are actually activatable or actionable, if you will. So what's the problem now? Incomplete type GUI action. Sure, we can definitely give you that. All right, so if action is enabled, then we will append it. Sure. And then what were we doing for the window? Window action for key event works how? Same basic concept as widgets. So a window, which is also a core object, can have action child objects, and those actions are then scoped to the window. So we should be able to simply do the same jazz here. In fact, we could even do something like this. Collect actions. Action container or action owner, action parent. Something like that. And then we would just put this up here. And then collect actions from the widget. And then we collect them from the window. Cool. And then for application global actions, where are they? So they are an application action for key event, which looks in a global shortcut actions hash map. So it's a little bit different, actually. Also, this one doesn't own them. So I guess we might find things here that we've already encountered. So we don't want to get duplicates in our vector, which tells me that we should probably collect these in an ordered hash table instead. Maybe we'll do something like this. Maybe even this, just to be safe. All right, and then we'll have to set, or what, is it insert? Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Actions set. You don't like that because it's not captured. Yeah, of course. Huh. All right, all right. And then we have to transfer them to the vector. So m actions clear for auto action in actions, m actions append action. Sure. All right. Also, find is kind of a dumb name for this function. I like collect better. So let's actually rename this. But then we'll have to rename this helper here to collect actions from objects or something. Or collect action children. Yeah, that's pretty nifty. All right. How do we get all of those actions here, though? Because they're not exposed. I guess one thing we can do is we can simply expose this list of actions. So we can do something like this. Yeah. That's maybe okay. It's not the nicest, and maybe nobody else should really be using this. So we could scope it with a badge to command palette for now, and at least that prevents everybody else from thinking that, oh, maybe this is something I should use. All right. Let's see. That's probably okay. And then GUI application. Actually, we have to null check the GUI application. Or wait, hold on. If we are doing this, then we have an application object. Yeah. Global shortcut actions. Sure. Pass a badge and we're good. Value and key. So the value is what we care about in this case. And I think we can just check if it value is enabled, then actions set and value. Yeah. All right. So after we've collected all the actions, let's print out what we actually found. So what do we print out about each action? Like action text, I guess. We can do the action pointer just for testing purposes. Maybe the keyboard shortcut. To string, yeah. I guess that's a decent start. All right, let's see. First thing is really just to verify that we are able to locate all of the actions in this particular context that we're in. And I guess it might be like the closest thing to the UI that we want is basically assistant, I think. And I haven't poked at assistant for a while. Let's see if we can look at it. There it is, assistant. Yeah, so it's similar to this in spirit. But of course, there will be a different selection of things, and we're also not going to have sort of dynamic data providers and things like that. So most of Assistant is not really useful for this. So I think it's probably easier to build something bespoke for what we're doing now. Also, the first cut of this doesn't need to be fancy. Like, it's more about just getting the functionality working in the first draft, of course. So we could even use a table view for the first version. I think that would be perfectly fine. And then we can do something fancier and nicer looking later on as we go. Let's see. What would we want to have? Let's say that we wanted to have just a simple table view. We can at least, while it's compiling, we can do some like basic stuff. Just import a table view, and we're going to need to make a GUI model for the actions. And it's not going to be anything too fancy, but I guess we'll have like a ref footer to GUI model. And we can also have a ref footer to the table view. Maybe we'll need it. I don't know if we'll need it actually, but let's do that anyway. Home stretch. Yeah, we definitely want a text box where we can filter the strings. So maybe we can use a filter proxy model for that. What's that thing called? Filtering proxy model? Yep. That's the one. Okay, so let's try to press Command-Shift-A and see what happens. Okay, this thing pops up and it says, these are the available actions. So find, Control-Shift-F, open new terminal, Control-Shift-N, and so on. So this looks pretty promising. These are definitely actions that would be available at this point. You can, of course, find them through the menus. the various things here, and also in the right-click menu. We don't see settings because there's no keybind for it, and this menu here, the context menu, doesn't get iterated, so we're probably going to have a lot of blind spots for this kind of stuff where we need to figure out like how do we locate all of the different reachable actions or whatever. But gotta start somewhere. Okay, so I guess one thing that we could do is we could just have like a global cache of all constructed actions, and then just iterate them. I guess one of the interesting parts is that like we only really want you to see actions that are relevant in this context. So if I am in the about box and I press this key combo, it's a little bit weird that I get these. Although what happens if I press it? Yeah, nothing happens if I press it. Command Shift F, for example, or like F1 to show help. So yeah, we're gonna need some work on like filtering things out that shouldn't be visible. I guess it's because we have a modal window up. Then what's going on with that? Action for key event. Why is it showing all those actions if window is not modal? Oh, I never checked that, I guess. We should only show the app global stuff if the window is non-modal. So if it's non-modal, all right, there we go. That should probably work better. Okay, and we're gonna have a very simple GUI layout to start with. So we'll make a widget, and we'll make a vertical layout. Vertical box layout. Wow, it has been a minute since I wrote libGUI libGUI code. This is fun. All right, and then let's see. Let's do a text box. Table view. Yeah, and this thing, I need to make this thing a bit more error propagation friendly as well, but right now that we are just prototyping, I'm just gonna plow through and try to make something that works first, and then we can worry about error propagation later on. We didn't do anything with the layout, I suppose. Yeah, that's true. Okay. And we want to make a model. And we're going to make our very own model, I guess. So it's been a while since I did this, but what I usually do is I just grab all of the pure virtuals here, and then we can probably just create a model subclass, action model. And it will have access to the vector that we store in command palette. Yeah. we'll do something like that. So this will be a reference of the type of const. Okay, and the row count is going to be the actions size. Nice and easy. Column count, I guess we'll do this thing that I like to do sometimes. So what do we have? Our text, shortcut, and count. Actually, we're not going to need these, so we can probably do that. Maybe we can just skip that thing entirely. Or no, it was pure virtual, right? So we can't skip it, but we can make it the simplest possible thing. And then finally, the data, which of course is where we return the actual data for each action. So let's see. So if you're looking at the text, shortcut is going to be the shortcut to string, and everything else would be one of these things right here, verify not reached. Sure. And how do we find the action thing? Well, we're going to store internal data with the indices, I think. So that's what we normally do. And let's remind ourselves how to use that API because I don't remember. I think we have to override the index function and just make it return custom index that has the action stored into the internal data pointer. So we will do something like row, column, parent. Oh wait, what's the thing that we do here? We do create index. That's the thing that we want. And that one takes column, row, column, and internal data, right? M actions putter at row dot putter. Okay. I think that should work. Action model. Okay, and then we create a model to wrap the actions vector. And for now, we will just install the model into the table view and see what this all turns out like. Because now I am curious. Oops, what on earth did I press? Okay, I pressed something that made shell mad. Oh, I guess I just did a sig quit, actually. Well, that was not my intention. Okay, anyway. There we are. So, look at that. Now, obviously, we have to get rid of these ampersands. But just the general feel is already, we're heading in the right direction, clearly. Invalid, we should probably not show anything for stuff that has shortcuts. Obviously, we should just not show anything. And I think we probably don't need this column header, so we can get rid of that. Also, the window needs some background. So we're going to say main widget set fill with background, true. And we will get rid of the column headers. Column headers visible, false. Okie dokes. And to get rid of the ampersands, we want to, there's a ampersand parse thing, ampersand string, parse ampersand string, which lives in GUI painter, graphics painter.h for some reason. I think we will just tolerate that for now. And pass this text here through the ampersand parser. So yeah, get rid of those amps. And for shortcuts, if action shortcut, if it's not valid, then I guess we can return the empty string like that. Okay, let's test this out. And then I guess we should change the window type to be frameless. All right, but we're improving, right? Background color is in. We're not seeing the ampersands. We're not seeing invalid right here. Very good, very good. So let's see if we can. Oh yeah, and you can click outside of it. Like you have to actually dismiss it before you can go back to interacting with the app. I think that's probably okay. How does this thing work? Can I still interact with the app? Well, it dismisses it, but like if I hover over something, it doesn't care. Although like visual effects like these still work. Yeah, it might be nice if we make it work that way at some point. But we don't have to do everything at once. Let's just do the basics. Frameless, let's see. Oh, I forget how this stuff, how to get a good looking frameless window. We gotta investigate. Is it frameless true that I want, or is it just, I want to hide the title bar, I guess. Yeah, because this is like, now it's like super frameless, and it's not exactly what I want. I still want it to have a frame, just no title bar. But I guess there's no other way to get that other than to draw it myself. So, well, that's kind of what GUI frame is for, to be honest. So we can just use GUI frame, and we will set the main widget frame shape to, is it box that I want? Box and raised shadow, right? And then I would guess I want to expand the space in the layout a little bit by adding some margins. So just gonna put a little bit of margin in there, a little margarine. Actually, can I do this? Would you tolerate this? And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next, somebody once said. Let's see. Okay, well, that's not exactly the look I wanted. I think Widget Gallery has, doesn't it show these things somewhere? It's supposed to be somewhere. Maybe I'm staring right at it and I just can't tell. Okay, I don't know why I can't tell where it is. Maybe we never had it. I felt like we had a frame demo somewhere. Maybe we just don't. But we do have a bunch of cool demos though. Anyway, so box was not the one I wanted. Then was it panel? Maybe? Actually, let's check what Assistant uses, because Assistant looks pretty good. It's raised and what? Just the default? So that looks nice, right? Get a magnifier up in here. Yeah, look, well. It's a little bit lacking on the edges. Maybe I shouldn't set it to panel. I think panel, the panel paint mode assumes that you only want to have like the upper and lower shading and nothing on the left and right sides. It's used by toolbars and stuff which don't have shading on the sides. And now this looks better, I think. So let's get the help of the magnifier. Let's crank that zoom level to obnoxious mode and look at that shading. That is some 3D shading right there. Pixel perfect. That's awesome. Okay. That's definitely the mode that we want. So what was the default? Is it container? Frame shape? I guess it's probably container. The default is no frame? Wait, what? No. The default is frame shape container for some reason, and sunken. So we just switched to container raised. All right, fine, whatever. It looks good now. But we definitely do want to increase the size of it a smidge, right? So maybe something more like this is a reasonable, let's say something like this is a reasonable width maybe, or maybe we should go hard, 400 wide, 400 by 300. It seems like a downright reasonable size for something like that, at least for our first prototype version. So let's get rid of those. And resize 400 by 300. Okay. And then what happens next? We want to filter using the thingy. So for that, we have a text box that we want to use for filtering. So we gotta hook that thing up using a filter proxy model, which I'm not sure if I ever actually used for anything myself. So let's see if the API is as intuitive as everything else. So instead of setting the model directly here, what we should do is set, create a new model. So GUI, filtering proxy model, create, passing in our own model, so model, and then we have to wrap this into some moussed or something. There we go. Because this thing returns error or it's very good about error propagation. We are ignoring error propagation ourselves at the moment. And of course, we need to hook up the text box to actually update the filter. And let's see. Okay. And what do we call set filter term? Okay. Let's see if this works. This is like the quality test for any API that I feel like you should be able to figure out how it works with just a little bit of reasoning and let autocomplete do the rest. So if I type here, it crashes. Cool. Not exactly what I wanted. Let's see. Did we learn why it crashed? String contains. Well, this looks like it didn't go so well. Why are you filtering so hard? I guess maybe I have to set something up about this filter thing. So fine, maybe I have to tell it which column to filter on and things like that. So let's do something like this. Ref footer to GUI filtering proxy model. Okay, sure. That's fine. What can we change about one of these things? Filter term. Okay, how are these things normally used? You have to call invalidate manually. So here it calls invalidate afterwards. Here it doesn't. And this guy calls invalidate internally. So this thing here seems totally unnecessary in the help application, but let's just ignore that. All right. So why are you filtering so much, bruh? Filtering proxy model filter. What does this do? Here we go. Data matches. So I have to implement this thing probably. Data matches. All right. I guess that makes sense. Because I thought that I guess I assumed that the filtering proxy model would you would tell it which column you're filtering on, and then it would just use your filter term to scan against the filter column. But I think what we have to do is to override data matches in our subclass. So that returns a tri-state whether or not a given index is a match for a given variant. So how's this usually expressed? Data or term. All right. And then we do the term as a string. Sure. All right. That's fine. So we grab the action from the internal index data. And then if the oh shoot, we need to do the ampersand parse again. So text, okay, and then text contains term as string, then return tri-state true, otherwise return tri-state false. Uh-huh. Let's try it. Let's try state it. It's a little bit of an awkward API, but I can see where it's coming from, because I guess there are situations where you don't necessarily want to just filter based on the data returned by an index, but you would want the index to be able to have sort of searchable internal storage. If you have like some kind of index internally, some kind of database index or whatever, or something that you can query that's more suitable than just scanning through all of the data rows. Anyway, still crashes. Dang it. All right. Progress bar set range. Wait, what the heck? Oh, it crashed in Crash Reporter. Well, that's not very good. Okay, let's try that again. Terminal has crashed. Yeah. Still in the same way. Concerning. All right. Data matches. Wait, so what did I even do here? Contains as string. It's kind of the same thing that this guy is doing right here. I'm suddenly so confused by the filtering proxy model. So it seemed like it was going to be easy to use at first, but now I'm getting a little bit concerned about the straightforwardness of this API. Let's see. Well, if the index here is invalid, we're definitely going to have problems. So let's just validate that the indices are always valid. What was the internal crash thing anyway? Is it just a Stack Overflow? It's probably a Stack Overflow. I mean, it looks like infinite recursion, right? Feels like it. What did it say at the bottom? Where is it? Bit app bitwise. All right, well, let's just validate that the indices are always valid. Just get that concern out of the way. Also, if we have an empty filter string, we shouldn't filter at all. Okay, I don't know how I'm pressing SIGQuit in that context. Okay, so I think maybe, no, still. This is going so-so. What is the problem here? I guess we can dump out what we're being asked about. Verified term is string, so we'll verify those things first of all. And then I just want to dump out match filter term against data. Sure. Because what on earth? Maybe this thing had more things I needed to look at. Not just data matches. Like, is there something else going on? Am I forgetting to implement like update or something like that? Model did update. Match A against find dot dot dot. Okay, this doesn't look very good. Why does it keep doing that? Because I'm returning either true or false. What else do you want from me? I guess, I guess let's just look at what this thing does. How does the filter actually work? So, starting from the parent index, we will call add matching, and then this thing is recursively invoked. Okay, so at the parent index, which will be starting with an empty invalid index, sure. So it's the root, which is relevant for tree structures, but this is just a simple flat table. So we start here, iterate through all the rows, and for each thing, we get an index, and we check on the 0th column of every row, sure. Filter matches. And if it is a match, then we append, and then we call add matching index. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Add matching on index. So it calls add matching on the index again. And then it asks for the row count of that index. And we are kind of dumb in our model, because our model always says that the row count is the number of actions we have. Okay, so that's the issue here. We're not looking at the parent index that we're being passed. We just, because normally for like a table view, this doesn't matter. But in this case, because the filtering proxy model is generic enough that it can handle a tree hierarchy and a table view hierarchy or table model, we have to handle this case. So if parent index is not valid, then that's the root. So we return the total number of root elements. Otherwise, return 0, because that's how many children everybody else has. Yeah, okay. I guess I should have looked at what this thing did sooner. But sometimes, you have this. You come up with these ideas of what might be wrong, and you just go investigate those first. Kind of like a heuristic. Okay, now it's starting to get a bit better. So can we get quit? Nothing shows up anymore. That's a little bit concerning. So that's presumably the quit thing. But why doesn't it show anything? Also, if it is empty, wait, what did it do if it was empty? Oh, I guess we need to set filter term immediately. Just to set the empty string like that. And then what happens? Now nothing shows up. That's a little bit concerning. Why doesn't anything show up? Seems like we are going to learn more about filtering proxy model. Why are you not showing anything? Let's see if it at least shows 2 columns. Shows a single column. Why? Column count. What does that do? Wait, what? If the index is not valid. Wait, this doesn't seem right. Why does it say that there are 0 columns? Just from the initial commit. Huh. Yeah, this isn't right. Like, the column count is should just be coming through from the underlying model, I think. So what we should do here is, for the root, the underlying model should answer the question, how many columns in the root? Yeah. Because the invalid model index means the root of the model. That's sort of how we indicate that. All right. Hey, there we are. Okay, so not quite right yet, but getting closer. It is entirely possible that we are using filtering proxy model in ways that it hasn't been used before. And maybe we also broke this thing now. Let's try searching POSIX. It still seems to work, although a little bit of rendering issues there in the web view, but totally beside the point. Okay, so why are we showing data from the same column twice? That's most likely another bug in filtering proxy model. Let's look at data. Data for the root is nothing. That's fine. Data, let's see, index.row dot data for role. Okay, yeah. So, we're not querying the underlying model properly. We're only, we're assuming that the underlying model has a single column of data. So we're gonna need to do a little bit better for that. Also, what on earth is going on here? If the index row is greater than matching indices size, or it's invalid. So if it's invalid, we should do that. Instead of returning a 0, which is really weird. A lot of weird stuff going on here. Let's make some commits as we go, actually. GUI, fix bogus, column count in filtering proxy model. Root index column count, the root index model index. Look, should same column count as the root index and the underlying model. Yes. Okay. GUI, fix bogus, data return value for invalid indices. Yeah, let's just say this. Turn an empty GUI variant on indexing error. Sure. And then here, yeah, so the issue is that we are just looking into this vector, and the vector has a model index. Presumably, the model indexes in this vector are all for column 0. So we have to create a new index here. mmodel create index. Can we call through like this? I wonder. No, this will be tricky. Index. we have to call, and we can't call create index directly. We got to call index. And we have to pass an index parent like that. Let's see. Oh, wait. What am I doing? M model. Okay. Get the row there. Yes. Translate the row or map the row like that, and then get everything out like that. The parent doesn't have a translation, so here, fix me, support hierarchical models. Non-empty index parent. Yeah, that's something that we're not going to cover right now. So we'll leave a fix me about it. Underlying index data role. Yeah. Okay, with those issues fixed, and look at that, we can see the shortcuts finally. Okay, that's very good. And maybe it would be nice if it would look like this by default. I mean, I'm not married to the idea, but I feel like it would be a little bit more aesthetic, I guess. What's the solution to that? I guess to make the column width of this column be the width of the table view minus some amount, which is going to be like the size of this column. That's kind of a hassle to do, though. It would be better if you could right align the column, but we don't have any API for this. So, okay, let's not get carried away with trying to make it look super fancy. Let's go back to not showing the header. And then the final thing that we need for this thing to actually be considered a working feature is to actually do something when you activate one of these model indexes. So on activation, Okay, can we learn how to type? Yes. I think this will give us the GUI model index. Like that, right? Almost. Kunst. All right. So at this point, we can get the internal data. Yes, the index is valid. Then static cast GUI action. Wait. Now I want the underlying. I want the underlying thing, so I have to map it to my model, I think. Oh, and this thing isn't right either. Okay, well, it's just, let's see. Let's see, maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. Let's just double check. And actually, I shouldn't activate the action here. I just want to return it from this command palette. And then whoever invoked the command palette it's up to them to activate the action. Yeah, that just crashes because I have an index into the filtering proxy model. And I want to turn that into an index into my own actions model. So one more step here. Let's call this the filter index. Action index is filter model map the filter index. Okay, maybe this will work actually. Let's see. Yeah, the map function here is a little bit goofy because it also doesn't care about columns, but in our case, it doesn't really matter because look at that. That's pretty cool. Clickety clack. All right. Very awesome. So actually now all that we need to do is make sure that we dismiss the palette when this happens. So instead of activating the action, we just want to say mSelected action is action. And then we want to done, exec OK. I think this is what we want to do. And then the palette will be disappeared and Windows Server connection will activate. Let's see. Activate the action. And if we do activate an action, I feel like we should probably return at that point instead of posting an event for the Control-Shift-A. Fix me, this shortcut should be configurable. Okay, so let's get about up. Oh, that's a little bit weird that like because the about box is modal, then we still have this guy underneath us until it goes away. It's a bit of a weird artifact. Should make the search be case insensitive. Okay, that works fine. So the data matches function should be case insensitive, case sensitivity, case insensitive search. I feel like it will become immediately better thanks to that. And what else am I thinking of? I guess we should focus the text box. Set focus, true. And then also, I guess, when you press enter on return pressed, then we should try to activate if there is a selected index. If mTableView has selection is empty, not activate. Selection first. Wait, how can we activate? Can we activate remotely? Maybe we have to make a helper here. That's probably okay. Activate. Or no, wait, hold on. I don't want to activate it. I just want to return it. Finish with index. Yes, we need a helper for this. Yes, because then we can do something like this. Finish with index, table view selection first. Yes. And then we could do a lot of stuff for like ergonomics to make like the keyboard up and down do nice things. Should probably, yeah, we need to make it so that like the top thing is selected whenever you type, things like that. Seconds on change. If filter model row count is less than 0, then filter table view selection set index 0, 0, something like that. So select the first. On down pressed, can we do that? Move cursor. Yes, that's the one that we want. Cursor movement down. Abstract view selection update set. Ooh, man, all of that time spent on selection and cursor API is about to pay off, I think. That would be so cool. I remember working on these months ago to sort of make the cursor movement externally accessible in data views. Be real sweet if that just works out. Oh, look at it. Oh, yeah. That's so sweet. Quit. Very cool. Okay, open new terminal. About. Cha-ching. All right, so real test of the power. Let's try in browser instead. See what happens. Boom. Whole new set of actions. New tab. Boom. That's pretty cool. So it just works in any application. Let's close this tab. Okay, there you saw, by the way, we had duplicate, close tab. Oh shoot, wait, hold on. If I open multiple tabs, close tab, now I have 2 of those. So probably something happens that there's like a different close tab action that we create somewhere when you have more than one tab open. So situations like this, we're gonna need to figure out how to refine and so on. But it really does feel like there's something here. So Control L, boom. Let's see. So if I just press down, starts going right away. Sure. What if I want to bookmark? If I press down now, I expect it to switch to bookmarks bar, but it doesn't. That's a little awkward. Oh, wait. It's probably because I did selection set here. And what I want to do is I want to do a cursor set. Set cursor. Filter model index 0, 0. Abstract view selection update set. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty cool. I can feel it. And of course, now we are just in the beginning of this feature, but full screen. Boom, look at that. Oh, does this thing work in full screen? Yes, it does. Although it kind of brings up the taskbar, which looks weird. And then, yeah, full screen mode is a little janky, I have to admit. I have to work on that. Okay, let's test it out in File Manager. So Control Shift A. And then what if I want to switch to table view mode? Boom. Cool. What if I want to launch a terminal? Terminal. That didn't go so well. Okay, what happened there? Terminal. So the action doesn't work if I activate it from here. Don't know why that is. Oh, wait, maybe the action is contextual. So it only works if you activate it from... Yeah, that's going to be something specific, because I know File Manager has a bunch of weird stuff depending on like if you have your focus in the tree view on the left side or in the directory view on the right side. Then we do a bunch of goofy stuff to figure out like, what do you mean by this shortcut? So that probably needs a bunch of work. Also, we crash on exit, which is not cool, but not in the code that we were editing now. So ignoring that. All right, I just want to test this out on something else. What's another cool app that we haven't looked at recently? Let's do System Monitor. Okay, so what can we do here? Okay, so these are all specific to the currently selected process. But there's kind of an interesting problem here that these are context-sensitive things. So they're relevant if you have a specific selected thing. Let me make sure that I click on something I own. So here, these actions make sense, right? But I don't know how we can fix this API somehow so that it wouldn't show us context-sensitive actions that are not relevant unless you have a selection somehow. There's probably some way that we can do that, but yeah, we'll have to figure it out. Also, we need to come up with a way to make it so that if you click outside this thing, it will dismiss it. Right now, you have to dismiss it either by activating one of the actions or by pressing escape. So that's a fix me for sure. But yeah, Control-Shift-A. Let's try it on the desktop. Of course it works on the desktop, which is weird. You can switch to desktop view. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, that is bad. Yeah, so some things definitely don't want to have this thing. We should probably disable it. We should have a way to opt out of it. We're definitely going to need that, but we don't need to do that in the very first cut. I think I am happy with what we have done here for the first cut. Let's just make sure we fix filtering proxy model data. Filtering proxy model data, plumb column through respect support multi-column data. While the rows are filtered, we can't just return data from column 0 every time, and since that breaks multi-column. Underlying multi-column models. Instead, simply forward the incoming index. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing fancy, but important to get it done. Okay, and then here, adding command palette to, oh, actually, we're just going to add classes now. Yeah, so here's our first cut of this. But I think it turned out pretty cool. So add a universally available command palette to GUI programs. You can now press Control-Shift-A, any libGUI application, and we'll give you a command palette dialog. where you can search search for actions, context relevant actions by name via the keyboard. The set of actions is the same one as currently. Same one that is currently the same one you'd access via keyboard shortcuts. In the future, we'll probably want to add richer add APIs to make richer integrations to this feature, to allow richer integrations. Yeah, because there's a whole lot of things that you could imagine doing, right? Like you could even imagine having actions with parameters, for example, so that you could have, or maybe it wouldn't be called an action at that point, but like something where you could say like, I want to create a new file, and then you could type new and then space and then the name of the new file, things like that. I don't know if how that would work, but I feel like there's a lot of interesting potential for new features here. So I think we are treading into a fun area, and I definitely didn't get everything right in this version. We're going to have to iterate on this, and definitely going to want to improve the appearance and the selection of things and so on. But just as a first cut, this is pretty cool. What's a nice flashy thing we could do quickly to make this slightly cooler? Maybe icons. Icons. What if the action has an icon? We could just show the icon. That would be slightly cooler immediately, right? Let's try that. So we'll add an icon column. And here, case column icon. If action has an icon, then return. Oh, I forget if you can create a variant from a bitmap like that. I think you can. Let's see. It would be swell if that just worked. I think GUI variant can swallow a graphics bitmap without any further massaging. Let's see. Oh, look at that shit. We gotta cleanse these a little bit because the ... here looks wrong, but that is cool as heck. Can we just do that? Yep, that is really, really rad. Oh man. Save. Copy. Save. Yep. Everything works just right. Save as. Boom. Super cool. One thing that's a little bit goofy is that while I'm typing up here, go to line, this thing sort of has this gray unfocused appearance, and maybe we should allow it to have the focused appearance while you're focused up here and make them sort of behave as a composite widget together rather than as a separate text box and table view. I don't know. There's a lot of things we can do to improve the general feel here, but definitely like where this is going. The ordering thing is goofy. Maybe alphabetical is the way to go. It probably is. Yeah, I don't know why I thought the priority would be the way to go, like the same priority as the keyboard shortcuts normally follow. show action icons in command palette when available. Yeah, that just looks cool. Okay, maybe we should alphabetize these things. So, what's the easiest? The easiest way, there are two ways to do it. Either we can add a sorting proxy model in between, or we can do the slightly lazier thing, which I'm gonna do now because I'm slightly lazy at the end here, and just sort the action list that we have created. So can we get a quick sort up in here? Quick sort. Quick sort actions. And then text. Let's see, this is just our basic less than function, right? Oh, no. I didn't want to commit that. I gotta test it first, bro. Gotta test it first, bruh. Now I got real presumptuous about what would be possible here. I can't quicksort on a non-null ref putter vector, I think. That is a little bit unfortunate because of the way the non-null ref putter vector template works. So I think it's just not compatible with quicksort, and I'm not going to go and fix that now. Instead, we're just going to demote it to a regular vector of non-null ref putter, and then we can just call through on these. And of course, we have to also update this guy right here. And where else do I have to update? Oh, of course. The constructor. Okay, we are alphabetized, kind of. This guy's at the end here. This doesn't feel entirely alphabetical. What the heck? I'm confused. It's like slightly alphabetized, but not entirely. Something is not quite right here. What is action text? That's a string. Sure. This is supposed to be a less than function, right? Yeah. Okay, there are a lot of yaks to shave in this environment. As per usual. So it looks like this is how we typically use it, right? See, quicksort, some collection, pass in a lambda with a less than b. And what exactly is this guy right here? What does that do? Neither string will be null, so it's a stir comp. All right. I would have expected this to work. Oh, wait. I see what this is. It's the freaking ampersands. This will be the ampersands, right? Because we're hiding those, but for the sorting, we have to actually take those into account. So this is really awkward, but like, yeah, this is super awkward. But I'm just gonna do it. Fix me. This is so awkward. Don't be so awkward. Yeah, that's a fix me, but it's also something that we are just going to tolerate at this here moment. Also, let's put our parens around the right thing. Yeah, so basically the ampersands, if you're not familiar with those ampersands, by the way, we use them to indicate where the underline goes in a menu. And then the underline mechanism creates an implicit keyboard shortcut. So if you look here, for example, in the edit menu, you can see that copy has C underlined and find F underlined. And you can just press C or F to activate those items respectively. And we indicate the location of the underline by putting an ampersand before the character. If we remove those when sorting, then now we are actually alphabetical. Yeah, there's definitely some way that we can improve this whole thing. Maybe Action should have a better API that hides this type of stuff, for example. Things like that. But wait, M says you who? What on earth is M? You who? This must be a leftover. I just typed M by accident and it says you who. I think this must be a leftover test program I made at some point that's still in my disk image. That's that's funny. Anyway, this is awesome. I love it. Let's continue iterating on it. Look at these icons. How cool is that? So cool. Let's bring up the about browser. Oh, wait, Bing. What happens if I activate Bing? Does it switch to the Bing search engine? It did. How cool. Yeah, so like so many different features we gotta add to this, but Control-Shift-A to bring it up. And let's end the video here because I'm pretty happy with what we've achieved. So let's just let's just commit first. libgui alphabet, the actions and the entries and command palette. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that the natural shortcut priority order would make sense. It doesn't. Like, it's much better to have them alphabetized. Clearly. Yeah, so this will be the end of today's video. If you made it this far, then I thank you for watching and for hanging out. I hope that you saw something interesting here. I certainly enjoyed working on this. And look, you can garbage collect from this thing. Boom. Activate garbage collector. Yeah, this is awesome. I love it. Let's come up with even more cool things like this. I gotta go. So see you next time. Bye.